Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Youthman. We are still in the middle of a 13 video series. We were up in Wisconsin and Illinois for about 4 days. I recorded 12 home theaters while I was up there and actually visited 13 of them. Absolutely phenomenal trip, and I've been sharing one of those home theater tours pretty much every single day for like 12 days. So we're on probably day 5 now, 4 or 5. I'm losing track already. It's so many. But in the morning, I'm posting, or I guess 1 p.m. every day, I'm posting the home theater tour. And then in the evening, like right now, I'm sharing just my thoughts on that, because at the time I was up there, I did not have a chance to do this because we were doing 3 to 4 home theater tours in a single day. So we just ran out of time. And so today I'm going to be sharing with you about my friend Scott Newby's setup. Kind of backtracking a year and a half ago was the first time I had a chance to meet Scott and check out his setup. I flew up to Wisconsin, met with Jeff Permanian, which is the owner of JTR speakers, because I wanted to hear their speakers. I had the RS2s in for review at that time, and I told Jeff, I said, man, I would love to hear your towers. I said, I've heard good things about them, but if they're anything like your subwoofers, man, I got to check these out. And he said, you know, you can always fly up and I can actually hook you up with a couple of guys and I can take you over and demo and you can come by the shop. And I'm like, dude, let's do it. And so I flew up there, and the 2 homes that I visited was Tony. Tony has the D-box chairs, that home cinema, phenomenal. Still probably one of the most incredible home theaters I've ever experienced, because he truly has the whole package. I mean, we're talking incredible sound, great visual, and then on top of that, he's got Crosons, which add some really, really big tactile feel. And then on top of that, he's got D-box seating and wind. So I'll talk about it when we get to his later on. But the other one that we went to was Scott Newby's. And so I had never been in a home theater that had that much bass. Of course, back in my car audio days, I had heard some really crazy setups, but you're talking, you know, SPLs, and which is sound pressure level, that type of volume in a really confined space. Now, granted, Scott doesn't have a massive room. It's kind of like mine, actually. I mean, it's not a big room. His room might even be slightly bigger than mine. I just have tall ceilings. He's got shorter ceilings. So probably cubic volume is about the same. But he had like 11 subwoofers at that time, and it was kind of a mix of stuff, different brands. I think some of them were different size woofers. He had some THX Ultras. He had some Power Sound Audio subwoofers. Then he had some JTR subwoofers. And although he loved the sound of it, he was just kind of looking to get kind of some, I guess, symmetry, as far as it's easier to dial in subwoofers when they're, you know, pretty much identical, or at least from the same brand, and so forth. So, but he was wanting to do some upgrades. But at the time, you know, I was just blown away. I mean, like literally blown away. You can see in the video, like how much I was like surprised, like, holy cow. I mean, I turned off the volume because of copyright stuff, but I'm like, holy cow. You can see my lips, and I was like, this is insane. I mean, that's all I could see. I'm looking at the screen. The screen is like, it's vibrating, like it's getting blurry. After the demo, I'm like, okay, was that the screen or was it my eyes that was getting blurry? I wasn't sure. And that time I had hearing protection on. A lot of guys were commenting. And I read all the comments of that video, a lot of them. And some guys were saying, and I see this in the Facebook groups, because Scott's also really, really active in a lot of the Facebook groups, because he's just truly passionate about this. And, you know, a lot of the comments are like, man, that's insane. That's just, who needs, 11 subwoofers? That's just stupid. That's kind of, you know, overkill and over the top. And honestly, I really just didn't know what his purpose was. You know, I mean, was he just trying to be the best out there, as far as, you know, I've got the most subwoofers? Was he trying to, you know, to have more output? And I wasn't real sure, to be honest with you. So then I fly up this year and this past weekend and get a chance to hang out with him a lot longer than we did the first time. First time it was like a last minute thing. Jeff's like, hey, Scott, can we swing by? Like, I don't know, this is like in the evening. Can we swing by tomorrow morning kind of deal? And he's like, sure, I'll be glad to have you all over. And he's scurrying around to get everything ready. But this go around, we had a lot more time just to kind of, not a lot more time, but we definitely had more time just to hang out and talk audio. And the interview, we didn't want to do like a complete tour because you've seen the tour. If you haven't, check it out up here. Check it out in the link below. I'll probably even have an end card with the video at the end of this video so you can click on it. But his setup, that's pretty much, it's the same, but he's got some new improvements. He's got new seats. He's got some new subwoofers, and we talked about that in the interview. But the interview was really cool because it even helped me to get a better picture of the why. And I think that's what everybody's always asking, like, why, Scott? Why in the world would you want that many subwoofers? I mean, wouldn't just a pair of them be fine? Wouldn't a single one? A single pair of JTR Captivator ULF 4000s would absolutely provide plenty of bass in that room. Absolutely. But the more I talked to Scott and the more that he shared with me his heart, it's not about being the biggest, the baddest. Although he does like having, I'm sure there's part of him that goes, man, I don't know too many people that's got something like this. And of course, there's always somebody out there that's got something bigger and better than you. But I don't think for Scott, it's about being the best. Scott literally is trying to please himself. He's looking for incredible, incredible dynamics. He's looking for pretty much unlimited headroom, okay? If you only have, prime example, I've had, say, a 12-inch subwoofer or even dual 12s. I've had a pair of subwoofers that had 10-inch drivers in each, and there was 3 of them, so that's 6 10s. And when you really crank it, on a scene, if it's got some really, really nasty low frequencies, it can wreak havoc on your subwoofers. I mean, they can bottom out. They can start sounding strained or distorted, and the bass, you're like, ooh, that didn't sound good, And nobody ever wants to experience that when you're watching a movie. And so by having so many, so now he's got 4 18s up front, 4 18s in the back. So now anytime that there's a big scene, you're talking, big massive explosions or even just quick things like gunshots, which are very, very fast, it handles those with ease. And so I always try to equate it to this. Think of like a bodybuilder. I myself, I'm 46 years old. I can bench press probably 265 pounds, but I can do it once. Literally, I can do it once. You take a bodybuilder, a professional bodybuilder, and 265 pounds is that's like him doing the barbell. It's just, yeah, what you got? He's just cranking it. It's like a warm up to him. And so the way I look at it when it comes to movies and even music that's very dynamic, it's got a lot of intricate components. When you have, smaller subwoofers or less subwoofers, it's kind of like me with the 165. It can do it, but it's struggling. It's everything it's got kind of thing. I got it once, cool. But when you've got multiple subwoofers like that, you've got some really, really good overhead. And those amps, in the subwoofers, they're just, what do you got, man? Come on, crank it up a little bit more. Bring it. You got another explosion? I'm ready. So it's that kind of thought process. And so the result that you get from that is just extreme fidelity. You get extreme output if you want it. And we went through some crazy scenes this time. And it was, put it this way. All right, so I had my hearing protection in and I was ready. And, at first we're just listening to normal stuff. We're normal volume. So I didn't have my hearing protection in it. It's, at reference or maybe below. Sounded beautiful. Really, really did. The music, I love Scott, how he's got everything set up on his iPad and he's just going through some music and I'm just kind of like, man, this is nice. I mean, just beautiful, beautiful dialogue, beautiful clarity. Instruments are just super, super defined and precise. And I'm just smiling, man. I'm like, I love this. I mean, this is what the hobby's about for me. And so after a little while, he's like, you ready to see what she can do? I'm like, hang on a second. I reach in my pocket, I put in my earplug, and I'm like, all right, let's go. And I knew what to expect. I mean, the first time was like, you feel it, man. It's violent. I mean, seriously violent, guys. And so I sit back, I'm prepared, and oh my gosh, I don't remember the bass track that he played. It's beyond insane. I mean, and again, as I shared in the first video, in the interview with him, this is like party trick stuff. It's like, he doesn't watch a movie with that. That would be, number one, it'd be dumb. He'd already be deaf. There's no doubt, already be deaf. But it's one of those things, it's kind of like when you have 1,000 horsepower in a car, you're not running, you're not going 165 miles an hour in a 35. You don't do that. But every once in a while, you get on the interstate and you're like, let's go. Woo! And you just kick it, man. That's what he loves to do. And he loves seeing the reaction of people. And he got a reaction out of me. The bass hit, and we're talking some low frequencies. He was going through some tracks, and it'd be like boom, boom. And when that bottom note would hit, you would just be like, oh my gosh, I think my internal organs just got rearranged. I mean, literally, and I'm not kidding. But this was the first time in my life that I felt like the earplugs would not be sufficient. I'm serious. And so the bass hit me so hard, I literally went, and so I'm sitting here going, oh my goodness. So I literally had my hands over my ears just to protect them. Like I was sincerely worried about my own health and my own safety for my ears. And again, that lasted, 20 seconds, and then he turns it down. He's like, so what'd you think? I went, it's phenomenal. But again, going back to what I said, because he has that amount of, it's not unlimited power, but it's pretty dang close. Because he has that much power on reserve, it's like the new Tesla Plaid. When you get on it, you get on it. I mean, you hit the gas and it's instant power, and that's what happens when he's got these 6,000 watt amplifiers in each subwoofer. When an explosion hits, there is no delay. When something's happening, it's just instant satisfaction. Let's just put it that way. But the other thing I really, really appreciate was Scott. He shared in the video, he's had over 150 people over. Scott loves the hobby. He loves sharing his passion. And the guys in their community and the guys in their group and their families, he always opens up his home and says, man, I'd love to show you, my system and just share with you. And so he's got a huge heart, man. I appreciate you, brother. Got mad love for you, man, you and your family. And I'm grateful that you and I have become friends over the past year and a half. You've done a phenomenal job. There's no doubt. Your room, especially, I think what you teach everybody too is that, of course, not everybody's got a budget for 4 JTR captivators. But the great thing is especially your room size. You don't have a massive theater room. I mean, some of the homes that I went into this past weekend, their room's like 2 to 3 times the size of mine because you got these big old basements, which I'm still jealous about, by the way. We don't have that here in Florida. But he's got this decent sized room. It's not massive, but he figured out a way to make it work. And he's got a beautiful, huge projection screen. He's got some really nice speakers and really nice subwoofers. And then even over on his rack and everything, you saw the pictures of that. I mean, he keeps it really, really clean, really, really organized. Much better than mine. Mine's typically kind of in a disarray because I'm always disconnecting and connecting because I'm reviewing stuff for you guys. But just the way he's got it thought out, he spent so much time not only in what he wants in a system, And all right, so here's another encouraging thing that I get from Scott. If you followed Scott over the past, probably well over, even before I met him, Scott was on a journey just like I was and still am, just like you are. You begin at one point and you begin to work towards your goals, whatever those goals look like, you know, whether it's a certain quality image projector or size screen, or maybe you've got just a regular couch and you're looking to kind of up your seating so you can have some nice, comfortable, reclining, maybe leather seats or theater seats or something like that. And so it's been really fun watching Scott's journey over the past, even just the year and a half that I've known him, and how bit by bit, piece by piece, he just begins to build this incredible, visually and audibly sounding theater room. And it just speaks volumes to me that when you put your mind to it, you can do that. And, you know, and the cool thing too is, you know, there are truly some guys in this hobby, they've got a good amount of money. They are very wealthy, you know, maybe they own businesses and this and that. And Scott, I don't get the impression that he's rich. You know, he's like me. He's like a lot of you. He's a hardworking dude. You know, I don't know what he gets paid, but he probably gets paid well, but he's not, I don't see him like balling like, I mean, he didn't hand $100 bills when I walked in, you know, but he represents like literally the everyday man that's just, you know, has a passion for home theater, a passion for audio, a passion for good sound. And he's going to work hard. He's going to save up and make it happen over time. It's not something that you're going to be able to build. Most of us aren't able to build a home theater, you know, by cutting one check and having somebody build it for us. But I've always tried to, and I share that with all sincerity and with all love for you guys, is that, you know, don't get in a hurry with this whole thing. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the journey of building your setup and your dream setup. Look for those good deals, save up your money, do your research, go listen to as many different systems as you can. Maybe it's friends, or maybe it's in a store, or maybe it's an audio show or whatever, so that you can find out what your ears prefer and what you like. But Scott, man, you've created an incredible home theater. So proud of you and what you've accomplished. And I can tell you this, in having conversation with Scott, he's not done. So hang on. I think this might be just the beginning for him. So I'm excited for you, brother. Well, guys, we're going to continue to have videos pretty much every day. I'm probably, honestly, I'm going to take a break tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday, so we're going to go to church, enjoy worship with my family. And then we've got to take care of some stuff for my mom from her passing. But I'm just going to take a break and just relax. And then I'm going to hit it strong again on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, because we've got pretty much about 12 or 13 sets of videos. We'll have 2 videos each day. So we're looking at about 26 videos roughly that I'll have on this trip that I've made. So truly grateful for you guys. Hope you've enjoyed this series. If you do, definitely like the video, subscribe if you're new to the channel. And then I also have a link down in the description, as well as the end of the video, to the entire playlist from this trip. And so guys, hope you have a great, fantastic week. God bless, and we'll catch you in the next video.